we're talking about how to make our mind like Amitabha's mind. And so, because that's definitely going to be a way to get born in the Pure Land. The more because the purpose of being born there is to have a mind like Amitabha's. And by the way, we shouldn't just think, oh, the purpose of the Amitabha practice is to be born in the Pure Land. The purpose is to attain full awakening. Okay, so we got to stick with that. Otherwise, you just get obsessed with my good rebirth, and you actually forget about sentient beings. Okay, so to make our mind like Amitabha's mind, we talked about equanimity before, and today I want to talk about equalizing self and others. And there's kind of a 9-round meditation for this. This is the first part of the equalizing, exchanging self and others meditation that Shantideva talks about, which I really find quite potent. Yeah, quite potent. Yeah, so the 9 rounds start with just reflecting that everybody wants happiness and nobody wants suffering. And we all know that intellectually, yeah. You just know that intellectually. The thing is, what's up here and what's up here don't always match, okay? And so we have to make them match. Yeah. And so I think here really reflecting again and again, looking at other living beings, yeah? If you're sitting in the hall, yeah, you don't need to open your eyes to look at everybody else, although I'm sure you cheat and do. But you know where everybody's sitting. And go person by person, yeah? And bug by bug. There's lots of bugs in the hall, too. You have the flies, and you have the stink bugs, and you have, what are those beetles that we now have, and, whatever, okay? Think about the cats and the deer and the porcupines and, the cougars and everybody else. Think about the people all around this planet, and not only in wealthy countries and in impoverished countries, the poor people in wealthy countries, the rich people in impoverished countries. And, as you look deeply into everybody's heart, just really consider, they all want happiness and they don't want suffering. Yeah. And let that permeate your mind, let it in. Yeah. Not here, but here. Okay. And really reflect that everything everybody does, everything they do, is in order to get happiness and avoid suffering. Everything. Yeah. Sometimes people's ideas of happiness are mixed up, and their ideas of suffering are mixed up. Their ideas of what causes happiness and what causes suffering are often confused. But that basic motivation of just wanting to be happy and not suffer, that is what motivates every single living being for everything they do. Yeah? And if it's, not for us ordinary beings, that's always the motivation for our own happiness and avoiding suffering. Of course, when you generate, great love and great compassion, then you extend it to all other living beings. Yeah? But it's still that same wish of having happiness and not suffering. It's just you extend it more to others. But we've got to start, with realizing that everybody has this. And, it's not like there's evil people out there that are trying to get us. There's confused people. Yeah? Because it's really important to when, if we're going to go on after equanimity or equalizing self and others to cultivate love and compassion and so on, we have to get beyond this thing of I'm different from others, or me and my friends, our wish for happiness and not suffering is somehow different from other living beings' wish for happiness and not suffering. It doesn't matter who it is. It doesn't matter their politics. It doesn't matter their race. It doesn't matter what kind of sentient being they are or what realm they are. Yeah. And so just, reflect on that as applying to everybody. And when this is a good meditation to do when you're stuck in a traffic jam. You look around. They all want to be happy and they don't want to suffer. When you take a walk here, and you look at the insects and the animals and the post lady and the UPS driver and, whoever else you're in touch with. That's what's going on with all of them too. Yeah. When you have all these memories of all the people who drove you crazy and harmed you, that's what's going on for them too. Yeah. And so to really train the mind to look into everybody's heart and really see that. Yeah. And then the second and third part, second and third points of the 9 are, if everybody, or since everybody wants happiness and not suffering equally, to have a mind that when there's 10 beggars, that you favor some beggars and you ignore other beggars and you wish other beggars harm, that doesn't make much sense. Yeah? And when you see 10 people suffering from illness, it doesn't make any sense to help some of them and ignore another bunch and wish that another die. Yeah? So to really think, since everybody wants happiness and not suffering equally, yeah, and equal to the intensity to which I want happiness and not suffering, it doesn't make any sense at all to discriminate in terms of who I help and who I harm. In other words, we help everybody and we don't harm anybody. Yeah. Because if we look at everybody equally, you cannot make a syllogism. You try this in your meditation. You try and make a syllogism about why your happiness is more important than anybody else's. And see if you can make a syllogism. Try and make a syllogism about why your suffering needs to be eliminated more quickly or more, than anybody else's. And see if you can come up with a good reason that is going to make a valid syllogism to prove that. Yeah? Okay. So you started out, my suffering is more important because, or my suffering is more important to be alleviated because, and then you find what to fill in the blank for the reason that's going to make a valid syllogism. Okay? And this is a very good practice because our mind has lots of reasons. Don't think that you can't come up with any. Yeah, we come up with these reasons every single day about why we need to attend to our own happiness and our own suffering rather than somebody else's. So bring up these reasons. Yeah, don't think, I got to be polite. I can't really say what they are. I look so selfish if I say these reasons. Yeah. Well, we are selfish. We know that. And the purpose of doing this is to remedy that selfishness. So we have to bring up these reasons and really look at them. Yeah. If we don't bring them up and we just stuff them because we don't want to admit that we have them because we're not supposed to be selfish, then we're not going to get anywhere. We're just, cuddling our selfishness. Yeah. And don't go on this trip of, I'm not supposed to be selfish. Forget the supposed to's. Yeah. If you start doing this to yourself, I shouldn't be selfish. I'm not supposed to be selfish. I ought not to be selfish, then throw that away, okay? Because that doesn't do any good. Rather, think, does my selfishness get me anywhere where I really want to go at the end of the day? Yeah. So look at even your long-term happiness, which we know is Dharma happiness. Consider if your selfishness will get you that Dharma happiness that you want. Yeah? So, really go through it. Make all these reasons, live it up in your meditation. Yes, my liberation, my enlightenment, more important than anybody else's. All these sentient beings are interfering with it. I have to do things to take me away from my practice that they don't have to do. They do all these mean things to me. They discriminate against me. They have privileges and I don't have them. Go through the whole thing, because we have them there. We think them every day, don't we? Yeah. And then just ask yourself, does thinking this way get me where I want to go? So it's not a question of I'm not supposed to be selfish. It's a question of, does selfishness get me where I want to go? Yeah? So just bring that up and ask yourself, think about karma. Think about practical day-to-day situations. Yeah? And really look at it. It's very good to look at. Okay, so I think that's enough for today. Yeah? Okay, but I'm going first in line even though it's Wednesday. Because my getting my lunch first and not having to wait in line until everybody else, well, I'll look bad if I do that. So, okay, I'll wait for the lay people to go first, but then I'll go first among all the monastics. Because I'm more important. I don't want to wait. It's too boring to wait while all these people pick out which piece of broccoli they want.